when people that are high conflict push your buttons, if a person has very low boundaries or very low self-esteem, you're done.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
done.
If you lack moral, if you're not set on your morals, your values, you don't have any crystal clear goals in life, you're going to be easily manipulated. And that's why I see a lot of these people that are trying to gaslight you, or these high conflict people, they lack those. And I'm not saying they're bad people, but they're just not in tune with themselves. They're not acting in an authentic way. They're acting just straight out of ego. And there's probably some shit that happened to them in their childhood, and they're just not strong enough to change that. Which is, it's a shame. Or they've been hurt bad in a relationship, or a parent, or they had a bad experience at work where they maybe got fired unfairly, and now they're just like bitter at the world.
So you bring up a really great point, because like I'm just like, I guess I'm more connecting the dots. It's like if they're growing up in that kind of environment, and it's very similar to what we were talking about with one of the ex-girlfriends. That's their mode, that's their setting, right?
Sure.
So for them, like if they grow up in that kind of environment, they may not know how to really receive attention. So the only way that they get attention is by freaking being in conflict, getting someone emotionally engaged, because it's a charge for them. I think that's like what they're used to. They're used to it. So for them, it's like, yo, I'm gonna get this person. If you
grow up in a house that's like, parents are not showing love, and they're, you're getting abused whatever way, you're going to feel very uncomfortable when you meet somebody that actually loves you, unless you figure that out. And it's not going to be authentic love. You're going to feel it's going to feel real uneasy. You're not going to know how to, you were like, this is new. Like, I've never been around an environment that expresses love, and this person comes in, you're not going to know how to receive that love. And I think it's a much when you're in that situation, it's much easier to express conflict than it is to work on yourself. Because when you work on because again, if you grow up in a hostile environment, this is what you're used to. You feel safe talking shit, or you feel safe, just wherever it is, expressing yourself in a negative way, than being vulnerable and trying to work on yourself. Be like, hey, what I'm doing, I know it's not right. It's fucked up. What can I work on? Maybe I gotta go talk to somebody. Maybe I need to do some ayahuasca, or I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it is.
That's much harder. Yeah.
Yeah, do something.
Yeah.
It's, you bring up another great point, man, to build on your wisdom. It's coming back to the analogy that you gave about the hook, right? So if a person's not setting these boundaries and they hook you in, that's their control. That's their safety mechanism, because they can control your ass. Yeah. Even though it's a conflict, they know they got you, so they can play and toy with you. So listen, that's the thing why setting the boundaries firm is setting firm boundaries is so important with these types of people, because they're going to escalate their behavior to get your attention. Yeah. So if that happens, then you've got to respond or set your limits extremely clear. And people, that might mean you got to walk away, man.
Not a lot of people are strong enough to walk away. If you're dealing with that, it goes back to, we were talking about this a few episodes ago. Like, and I noticed this when I was dating this girl, and I realized like I was bringing out whatever I'm feeling about myself, I'm attracting that to me. So I wasn't blaming her 100%. I was like, all right, there's something about it that I'm bringing out. Like, I looked at her, I was like, oh, she's gorgeous. And at the time I was like, getting out of a relationship, or I was out of a relationship for a few months, and I was like, oh, she's hot, she's giving me attention, let's bring this in. But I also understand, like, I knew she was fucked up. It's like a scale. So if I'm willing to deal with this much fucked up shit, that means I have to balance out the scale, be like, I'm that much fucked up inside of me for dealing with that. It's never like this. It's how much, so when I did that, when I was listening to this guy who was like a therapist, and he said that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
And I was like, I got to start tightening up. I got to start tightening up my values and what I want, and start getting a lot more stricter with my goals, so I don't attract that in my life. I mean, I like, you know, I want to attract a hot woman. My wife is hot, so I'm okay with that.
You did great, bro.
I agree. So, you know, but
I think this is great because you noticing that, I think that got you out of the cycle, so you can still have an attractive partner, and she's on point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not like, listen, we're all a little crazy, but like she's more in alignment with who you are, right? Because, dude, you bring that up, bro. This is something I'm so happy you did that, because people, if there's somebody in your life that's high conflict, chances are, like I was saying before, you have a receptivity to that high conflict too. Because there's something in life where it's like, well, hold up, what's the latch in all this for me? Because sometimes people will be in relationship with high conflict people and never leave.
Yeah.
They'll never leave, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like man, bro.
And those high conflict people, they want to control your power. And why do you think that is? Because they feel powerless. Powerless people react that way. Powerless people put you down, play the victim role, try to manipulate you. So they're trying to get power somehow. Instead of looking within or reaching within or working on themselves within, they try to externally get it from. It's like a parasite, right?
It is.
Parasites don't live once they're done feeding on their host. You know, so
ding 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 for Brian. He won, man. We're done. Podcast done. And that was Jeff. We're out.
Yeah. You know, so it's like, you know, you got your parasites and your host, and I see a lot of men like this at the gym. You know, a lot of women, but mostly men are more willing to deal with getting shit on than I think women are. I feel like, maybe I could be wrong. I'd be curious to see what the women out there think, but I feel like a lot of, like, especially in the area that I live in, maybe it's they don't want to, like, they just kind of keep them happy, even though they're treating them like shit, just because they don't want to give half their shit away if they get a divorce, or they just are scared to be alone, or they need help with the kids or whatever like that. They just try to make things work. But I see, like, a lot of men, they're just like man up, like, set boundaries, like, talk to your wife, go to therapy. Like, you need to either end this shit or you need to work on it, one or the other. Just don't be complacent. Like, nothing's gonna get out. You're not gonna get anything out of it. You know, and your kids pick up on that shit too, and your peers pick up on that stuff.